Welcome to Unique Prepping, and my name is Zachary Smouse. Unique prepping is about preparing for the future in unique ways. No matter what limitations we have, we can always make the most out of what we have around us, and that's how we are going to succeed. In Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That Bible verse is why I have faith that no matter how difficult the future is, no matter what life you come from, or what the future holds, we as a society will succeed and make the future prosperous. Welcome to my channel, and let's prepare for a bright, exciting future together. Hello and welcome to a special edition of the 2023 season of Growing Potatoes on Unique Prepping. This year I decided to start a cooperation project with my best friends in growing potatoes. We started this on Tuesday, April 25th, doing a recording of each other planting our potatoes. Hope you enjoy this series, and remember, together, we can make this world a beautiful place for the future.
Right, there's my 7-gallon bag, about 75% of the way full, and my potatoes there. I'm just gonna put dirt over them, and then I'll be done. I
So
think.
are those seed potatoes?
Yeah, well, most of them, 3 of them are, and then 2 of them are just extra that I just. Um, God, this is not easy to do without. All right.
Now, when we're filling them up, don't we want to save a little bit of room of dirt so we
I
can
would have
add
said
to it?
that before. If I was you, I would have said that before right now.
I'm more asking in a general kind of question, for the
Hopefully
audience
that
and
wasn't
for
too much dirt. No, they're right
because I
there.
think we're supposed to add to the dirt later on.
Well, does it kind of recede like like a hairline kind of thing, go down a little bit as time goes on, or?
I don't know. I don't think we want it to, because you want to keep it as kind of fluffy as possible as well. You don't want it too compact or the potatoes won't grow. So it might be too much dirt, and that's why I don't know. Billy, what do you think?
Well,
Our only real true gardener here ain't got no internet. Where you at, Billy?
all right. Then a little bit of water. You think a little bit? I've watered the bottom dirt, but technically this top dirt hasn't been watered. Then I'm gonna do a little bit of water on my
Let me see how much room you got from the dirt to the top.
shit.
Hold on a second, Cola. How much room you
About
got? Because you may
25%
need to
maybe.
take some dirt out, girl.
It'll be all right.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I'd save a little room, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. You can throw whatever you can on top, and then
There we go, brother. Look, guys, if Zach can make some bags of potatoes grow, and now one of y'all got an excuse. Right, Zach? Exactly, man. Yeah. So how many seeds do you plan on putting in each bag?
Package that I got for my birthday came with 5 Yukon seed potatoes, so I'm going to plant the 3 smaller seeds in one bag and then put the 2 bigger ones in another bag.
That's right. So did you use seed? Did you use seed potatoes, or did you use some old potatoes that grew some chits?
Used actual seed potatoes that we got from Walmart.
That's what's up. Oh yeah, that's right. You planting those Yukons, huh? I think they're Yukons, and those would be your birthday potatoes, right? Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
To where Yukon potatoes came from, according to SpecialityProduce.com. Yukon Gold potatoes, botanically classified as Solanum tuberosum, are a yellow flesh variety belonging to the Solanaceae or nightshade family. The mid-season cultivar was created in Canada in the late 20th century and was one of the first commercially successful North American yellow-fleshed cultivars. Potatoes are the largest vegetable crop grown in Canada, and over 150 potato varieties of potatoes are produced in the country. Yukon Gold potatoes were the first potato released and mass marketed by their name in Canada and are favored for their moderate yields, slight disease resistance, vibrant coloring, uniform nature, and rich taste.
So how long does it take for a potato to get to full harvest?
Potatoes is usually about 120 days, give or take. We harvest once it's completely die and then wait about 5 to 10 days after to make sure they get all the nutrients and stuff.
Is that the only dirt you're going to be using, brother? Is the potting soil? Yeah. That's what's up.
So do you put the dirt all the way to the top?
I'm going to be filling each bag with 16 quarts of Miracle Grow potting soil, which is halfway. That way I can add additional soil once the potatoes start growing leaves so I can support the stems.
So where in the bag would you put the potatoes? Like mid, lower, like top? How did like a 1/4 inch down? How does that?
Put the seeds in after I fill the bag 1/4 of the way so I can fill soil on top of them to halfway. This way they can sprout leaves and then I'll add increments of soil. According to gardeningchores.com, it depends on what variety you are planting, what growing method you're using, and how often you plan on hilling. In general, though, potatoes should be planted 4 to 6 inches deep into loose, fertile soil. If they are planted too deep or don't have access to light within the first few inches of growth, the plant will rot.
How often do you water your, how often do you need to water the potatoes, Zach?
The watering depends on how moist or dry the soil is. We want it to be damp just enough that the soil sticks to our finger and doesn't crumble.
Difference, but out of curiosity, it may, I don't know, like if they want full sun or kind of be in the shade or, you know, which one they prefer. Mine that I grew before, I feel like I put pretty much where they could get as much sun as possible. And they did all right. And they did good.
For me, I feel like at least 6 to 7 hours is the minimum of sunlight needed. You could go more if you want to, but 6 is the bare minimum for it. I feel like most things, sunlight is the best medicine for being healthy. To ask a prepper. Potatoes can be readily stored through the winter, which makes them a good go-to source of nutrition when not much else may be available or growing. We've all watched our potatoes slowly rot or sprout in the kitchen, so just what are the best methods of extending your dry storage time? Your first step should be to sort through your potatoes. Any potatoes that have visible damage, including bruises or breaks on the skin, should not be stored. These potatoes will rot a lot more rapidly than others, and they could spread a rot or infection to the rest of your potatoes. It will be incredibly disheartening to lose your entire store of potatoes. The right storage spot is a key part to ensuring that your potatoes do not rot, green, or sprout. A root cellar, basement, or seldom opened cabinet in your kitchen will suffice. It's important that your potatoes are not exposed to moisture and light. Potatoes winter while you want to keep out moisture and light. You do not want to keep your potatoes locked up in an airtight container. Good ventilation is important. Store them in ventilated containers, or even wicker baskets with a sheet of newspaper between each layer of potatoes. The newspaper will not only help to keep the potatoes separated for good aeration, but can also work to absorb moisture in the air. Ideally, your storage space should be between 35 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Lower temperatures will alter the taste of the potatoes, and higher temperatures could lead to an advancement in decay.
Oh well, you made them potatoes your bitch, Zach.
Feed it any kind of liquid nutrients? Cola? Zach? No.
Well, I just did on the one that's green and everything. Well, on all of them a little bit because I did my fertilizer today. So it was in the water and I went through and basically watered everything. So just for the first time, yeah, I just did today. So I don't know, maybe it'll help.
Okay.
I never have before. So
Answer the best life's question. For me, I believe that they do. Honestly, this is my second year growing potatoes and they seem to grow perfectly. However, I'm still learning the best method to grow potatoes, but I'm glad I have help from you guys and the community so we could all learn from each other and help grow awesome harvests for the future.
All right, so what I'm doing here, Zach, is I'm taking the potting mix, and what I do with the bags of potting mix or whatever soil you get in the bag, I throw it in a container, and especially if it's potatoes or carrots or whatever you're using, something like that, whenever you're growing something that's underground, I just put them in a container and then I just beat the heck out of them, man. Because if it goes straight from bag to that, and you just dump them in there, there's a lot of big clods and stuff, a lot of compacted stuff that's in the middle. So I just, chop it up, beat it up, stuff like that. The way you were doing it, scoop by scoop, you should be fine, obviously, because, you're able to see if they're big clumps or whatever, and you can fix them. But most people, I imagine, and because I did it too, just kind of poured the bags, straight into the bags and, oh, I'm done. To me, this is the bed of where we're putting our food. So nice and soft. And the softer the soil, what I'm told is the better the harvest. So then I went ahead and Filled up my bags. I filled them up about 3/4 of the way, a little bit more than 3/4 of the way. I'm going to read off of a website right now. What I'm doing is we're also growing seed potatoes, but we're going to grow the seed potatoes in the ground in one of our raised beds. Well, actually, in our future raised bed, because I still haven't built that raised bed. But so basically, what I'm doing is I'm taking grocery store bought potatoes, and I'm growing those ones in these 2 bags right here. Now I'm going to read off this website, and it should be linked up in somewhere in the video. Zach can do his magic. Now, of course, this website, like every other website, is trying to sell you something. But all right, we've all been there. You buy a bag of potatoes, pop them in the pantry, and then promptly forget about them. Then the next time you open up the pantry, you discover said potatoes have started sprouting, alien-like appendages. Well, these potato sprouts are the beginnings of what can be a large harvest in just a few months. So pretty much in short, as we all know, if you're watching this video, we got potatoes, they grow things. These are called chits. And once those start growing, man, throw them in the ground. Now, I'm not going to put these ones in my bag right now because after you cut them, and you don't have to cut them if they're about the size of golf balls, then you can, and they got some sprouts, you can just, shove those in the bag. But because these are a lot bigger than golf balls, I had to cut them. Now, what it says to do is to wait a couple days after you cut them. That way, the cut part, the cut part can get some calluses on it. Basically, that'll prevent the potato from rotting, from rotting in your bag. When to plant potatoes. Potatoes prefer cool weather and can be planted as soon as mid-April or about 6 weeks before the average last frost date. Soil temperatures of 45 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit are ideal. All right. Prepping potatoes for planting. And I'm only talking about the grocery store ones because, the seed potatoes, you can just pop them in there and be good to go. So prepping potatoes for planting. 2 days before planting, slice larger potatoes into smaller pieces. Each piece should contain at least 1 eye or bud. You can plant potatoes whole if they are smaller in size than a golf ball. In a day or so, the potatoes will form a thick callus over the cuts, which will help prevent rotting. And I've also seen a couple videos where they put the cuts in like cement, stuff like that. So, I mean, there's other ways. All right, planting store-bought potatoes. Fill a 5-gallon bucket or other larger containers with adequate drainage holes at the base with potting soil and place in a location that receives full sun. Match the number of potatoes to the size of container you are growing them in. So I have a 5-gallon bag, so I'm going to put 2 potatoes in there. Each potato plant needs about 2.5 gallons to grow into. A typical garbage can size container would hold 4 plants, while a 5-gallon bucket would hold 2. All right, now down to caring for the potatoes. Keep your potatoes well watered, especially during the period when the plants are flowering. During this flowering period, the plants are creating their tubers, and a steady water supply is crucial to a good crop outcome. And then it sells this one stuff on this site, but basically active growing potato plants also benefit from liquid feeding during their growing time. And I'm gonna shout them out. So use HG plant food formulated specifically for this purpose. This will ensure there is no prolific growth of new greenery at the expense of the spuds, root development. Simply apply 1 spray, blah, 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 blah. Basically, and we plan on using some kind of liquid stuff as well. I don't know if it's going to be that brand, but As the potato plant grows, you'll need to cover the new growth to facilitate more potatoes. Once the plant has grown above the top of the soil, add a few inches of new soil until just the tip of the plant is showing. This will encourage the plant to keep growing upward and to set more potatoes along the stem that's underground. And that's why we want to save a little bit of room at the top when we're filling our bags, is because we still got to add a little bit dirt as the foliage is, getting up there. All right, when to harvest potatoes. When the foliage turns yellow and begins to die back, discontinue watering. This will help start curing the potatoes for harvest time. Baby potatoes typically can be harvested 2 weeks after the plants have finished flowering. For mature potatoes, wait 3 weeks after the plant's foliage has died back. If you aren't sure whether your potatoes are ready for harvest, all you need to do is feel around for the potatoes and pull free those that are at least the size of an egg, or leave them if you want them to get bigger. So basically, you just pull them around, and I'll show you why I got these bags. I got these bags because they got the little see if you can't see that right there. Yeah, you can see. So basically, I'm not gonna pull it all up and have all the dirt fall out, but basically it has a pouch right here on the side that you just pull up the Velcro and then be able to get in there, put your hands in there, and figure out what the potatoes are, or be able to just go in there and peek them out.